Hi, welcome to Siskiyou Spotlight. I'm your host, Deborah Brannon. We have kind of an international show today. Our show is called Basketball Down Under. Kind of an interesting occurrence this week in our county. We have with us the Camberwell Grammar School basketball team, the freshmen, the JV, and the varsity. And accompanying them is their coach, Stephen Blackley, who attended COS and played for COS back, I think, in the early 90s. So we have with us Stephen Blackley today, the basketball coach from Camberwell Grammar School, and Tom Powers, who was his coach back then when he played for us. Tom Powers now coaches women's basketball and volleyball. Is that correct, Tom?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And
Good to be here.
Welcome, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So how did you two meet, and when? When did that happen? And where?
Well, I think it was maybe 1991. Tom was on a basketball tour to Australia with a bunch of former coaches, I think, and they were in. My dad actually helped them organise some games over there, and I think the first time we met Tom, they were actually playing the game before our club team played, and I think I took Tom to the football that afternoon. Right. Took him to an AFL football game with all these players, and I do remember going in the bus with Tom and his touring group back down to Frankston, and nearly getting in a car accident on the way to the stadium with whoever was driving the bus on the wrong side of the road and looked the wrong way, and
so it was an American driver. Okay,
and
got it.
Nearly didn't make it, but Tom's team played the game before, and we played the game after, and we just got to speaking about at that time I was looking to go to college, so I was originally looking to go to a school in the Napa Valley, and then found out that Tom was a college coach, and we got to talking, and all of a sudden, I think we caught up a couple more times after that, and that was it. I changed my mind and came to COS.
You came to COS. Were you surprised? Or?
Well, I don't know. I met Brian, his dad. He kind of organized it, and as they're playing after the game, he was talking to how Steve was thinking about coming over to the States, and especially when you're sending your kids so far away and you don't know them, and after he met us, even though we tried to kill him in the car and everything, they still let him come. And like I said, it was a wonderful experience for us having Steve here, and I think he had a great time. And obviously, you can tell where he's back here right now.
Yeah. So what team did you play? It was 92, 93? Is that what we decided earlier?
Yeah, 91, 92, or somewhere near there.
He was here a few years. Steve blew his knee while he was here, so he had to sit out 1 year. So that was a little bit unfortunate. So we were really looking forward to having him that one more year before he got hurt. Yeah. But, that's just kind of what happens once in a while.
Right.
There was a bit of an Australian curse there for a few years. There's a couple of Australians that came over and happened to get injured.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So I was on a tour a year later back in Australia, and I met another fella up north of up in Byron Bay.
Yep.
And so anyway, he came over and they were going to get to play together, and then he blew his knee. So it was just kind of in there.
Was it the water?
It was some. They were both great players, and Steve only stayed 2, where Mike stayed. Virtue stayed for another year. He's in our Hall of Fame, and probably one of the best players we ever had here. So anyway, we've been very fortunate, and we've had a lot of foreign kids here, mostly kind of from me traveling around the world playing basketball. But it's been a great experience for us, and I think it's been a great experience for the kids who've come here.
And you play with the World Masters Tournament?
We still do that.
You do that?
I do that now, but back then it was more just a bunch of coaches who still love to play that would go over and play all these places. And it's kind of like what Steve is doing here now with his group, where like at Mount Shasta last night, it was just a huge ovation. The place was packed just because the Australians were here and the community was great with them. And so when I could take our coaches over seas and we go to these places, and they would just love to see Americans. And
so the same thing happens to us. Yeah,
definitely. And they'd come, and luckily we didn't lose very many games, so we didn't disappoint them.
Good. And how did you do yesterday?
Yesterday we had a good day. We went out to Etna with the junior varsity and had a win against Wairika junior varsity team, I think by 20 odd points, and that was a good way to start the tour. Our freshman boys went down to Dunsmuir and played the junior varsity Dunsmuir team and had a 1-point win down there. So
1 point.
2 for 2, and then our varsity team went down to Manchester by I think 13 points last night. So 2 out of 3.
And Manchester still put them up for the night, huh?
Yep, they did. And it was a good day actually. They went out for dinner beforehand. Both teams went out for dinner and socialised before the game, which obviously wouldn't happen in too many league games over here. And, and then played the game, and it was played with really good spirit. And then they went home with the family, so it was a good day.
Various family, each family took 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think each family took 2 players home.
Took 2 players, and you haven't heard anything from them, have you?
Haven't heard anything, which is good. No news is good news.
Yes, no news is good news. You know what? I'd like to take a look at a couple of players from the Camberwell team. I think we have Richard. Well, we'll see. We'll run it.
Welcome. Are you? How long have you been playing on the team, both of you?
This is my second year.
Second year?
Second year at the school, so yeah.
So ever since we came into year 7 at school? So
Yeah, you start playing because you have to go to sport.
So how many years?
I think it's about 4.
About 4 years. Good. Did you have to win a tournament in Australia to be the team to come here?
No.
It was just like a school selection.
Nice. Glad to be here?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Well, good luck. You have 7 games ahead, huh?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Look forward to it.
Good. Thanks.
Thank you.
You know, it sounds like to me that we actually edited out that user error here. Who were those young men? What were their names?
One was Sashin, he's a freshman.
Sashin?
Yep.
On the left?
Yep, on the left, and Ben Watson on the right is a JV player. So yeah, I think they were pretty excited to do the interview. We don't get that sort of attention back home.
Good,
So.
and they were doing what you call a shoot around.
A shoot around,
Is that what it's called in basketball?
That's
a shoot
what
around?
it is.
And
Yeah, we haven't been on the court for a full week, so
you need to limber up and.
Yep. So to try and get some run into the legs, and we had the 14.5 hour plane trip, and then had a couple of days in Los Angeles, and then we had an 11-hour bus trip yesterday up to Manchester. So we needed to try and get on the court, and with losing days with the international travel, we just hadn't been on the court. So
That's right.
So
and
last night, winning 2 games out of the 3 without being on the court was probably not a bad result.
Pretty astonishing. And right now, you were saying earlier, it's actually about 6:30 in the morning tomorrow.
Yes,
isn't it?
6:30 Saturday
in Australia,
morning. In Australia,
Saturday morning. So talk to me a little bit about the player to coach shift. You played here, now you're coaching. You still play, and you coaching. How do you do that? What kinds of experiences as a player most inform your coaching? Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think I've been fortunate enough, I guess, to play under a lot of different coaches, and I think you kind of grab bits and pieces from all sorts of coaches, and I take a lot from what I learned with Tom. He's one of the best coaches I've had, and I think you learn a lot as a player, what you like from a coach and what you don't like, and try and form your own way. So I think just the experiences, and even these international trips, we're hoping to get to some NCAA college practices and things like that. So you pick things up along the way. We'll probably watch what some of the high school teams that we play against do and pick up bits and pieces. And I think as a coach, I think Tom would agree, you're always just learning. You never stop learning in basketball. There's always new things to learn, and so that hopefully the coaching staff that we've got here from Canberra and the players are going to take a lot out of this trip.
Good.
So that's one of our biggest aims from the trip anyway.
Good. And we are going to ask Jamie Watson and Andrew Harms to sit in with us in the second half of the show, so we'll hear a little bit more about that. Good. What about for you, Tom?
Well, I think probably of course, I've been coaching now for 33 years, so but luckily I've been injury-free, so I've been playing the whole time. And I'd probably say the biggest advantage I've had over most coaches is I've been able to still go out on the court and demonstrate. I can still play against the college kids and more than hold my own.
We'll see tomorrow morning.
You'll see tomorrow. But anyway, so I think that's the one thing, being able to coach, but I think I have the one extra thing where I can go demonstrate. And I was lucky where I played from a point guard all the way to a post. So I was able to, so every position I can kind of cover for them, where other people, a little different, and I've coached boys, girls. We ran our camps here for years where we dealt from 3rd graders all the way to high school. So I mean, it's amazing the amount of basketball and the amount of people I've got to work with, and the coaches plus the players has been an unbelievable thing here at College of the Siskiyous.
Is there a big difference between basketball as played? Are there different rules, Australian to American?
A lot of different rules.
A lot of different rules, but we probably have time for about 1 minute worth of rules. What are some of the major differences that fans would maybe recognize?
Well, probably I guess the biggest one would be the shot clock.
The shot clock.
The shot clock, the high school system over here, they have 35 seconds to get a shot up. Back home, we play with a 24-second shot clock, so it's a lot faster.
Yes, it is.
And even the Manchester coach noticed last night, we really get up and down the court a lot quicker, and that extra 11 seconds is a big difference. And then a lot of the other rules are just technical, some shooting violations and a 5-second rule.
Probably you have 8 seconds to get over half court rather than 10. And
in Australia.
In Australia. And the key is also wider in Australia in the international game.
The three-point line's a lot further out.
Yeah, so
back home,
there are just some differences, but you know, back home everybody plays the same. We're out here in the States, you know, it's different lines all over the place.
Yeah.
So but it's like I said, when you travel over there, it doesn't take long to get used to it. But when you're playing it for the first time, calling timeouts and everything are completely different. So it's bad when you're the coach going out, everybody's looking at you and you have no idea what you're doing.
So luckily yesterday our JVs were the guinea pigs, so we learned a fair bit from the first game.
Good.
And we're able to pass it on to the next two teams. So we should be right from there.
One of the biggest difference I'd say between the two places playing in both is just the officiating. The officiating over there, I mean, I'm sure it's better, but, you know, no problem. I mean, since basketball is not as big over there, you know, you don't have many real quality officials. So,
I see.
And I think the officials over here really understand the game. A lot of them have played or have been coached, and I think a lot of the officials back home in Australia probably haven't played at a high level, so they don't really have a great understanding of the game.
Got it.
But obviously without them we can't play. So, but yeah, we've been impressed so far with the officiating. The 3 games we've had, quite a few people have commented on how good they've been.
How good it is. And you're actually raising a basketball player. You've got one in training, don't you? Your son, Callan. We have a video footage of Callan yesterday at the shoot-around, which I think we'll take a look at. He's here in the studio, but we'll let him speak on the floor. So you're the coach's son? Yeah. And your name is?
Callan?
Callan.
Yeah.
Nice. What's it like to be playing with the high school team?
It feels pretty good.
Feels pretty good. Do you play with them a lot?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Are you actually in the tournament, or are you traveling with them?
In the tournament.
You are?
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Is this the first time you've toured with your dad?
Yeah.
Are there any times when it's hard to be the coach's son?
Not really, man.
Not really? No. Good. Nice. We got a little action in there, too. That was nice to hear from your son. You know, we're going to have to take a brief break, and we're going to come back with Andrew Harms. Thank you, Tom, for being with us.
Thank you, and I just want to thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
And Steve being back here with us. So, you know, we don't get a chance to see each other. Saw him 4 years ago, but now it's great to have him back.
Good. Thank you. We'll be right back.